Thank you for making Locked On Yankees your first listen every day. We're free and available on all platforms. On today's show, we have some spring training stuff to talk about. We have some general soreness to talk about. There's a teaser for you. We're also going to look back at Giancarlo Stanton's first game in pinstripes because it happened 4 years ago today, which seems strange to think about. 4 years ago doesn't feel that long ago, and yet in so many ways it does. And we'll talk about that and more. All next on Locked On Yankees.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, Yankees fans. My name is Stacey. I'm the host of Locked On Yankees. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at Locked On Yankees, all one word. You can listen to us on every podcasting platform available, including Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, and Stitcher. You can watch and subscribe to us on YouTube. We're inching closer and closer to 1,000, not 100. We're way past 100, 1,000 subscribers. And when we hit 1K, we're having a giveaway. And when you get into your car, you can tell your smart device to play podcast Locked On Yankees. So the Yankees played a spring training game today. I watched it, which is why the show is slightly late. I just wanted to see what was happening with the Yankees and not interrupt anything. So Clark Schmidt pitched. Well, he started, and he looked great in the first inning, had an iffy second inning, looked great in the third inning, and overall he looked good. Kyle Higashioka hit a home run. Marwin Gonzalez hit a home run. Max Burt hit a home run. I think that was a grand slam, right? And then a kid whose name I can't remember. And Benjamin, what was his name? He had long hair. I was kind of shocked. Almost looked like what Ben Gamel's hair looked like when he was a Yankee. Not quite as long as it is now, but kind of long for a person who's part of the Yankee organization. I was shocked. But that kid hit the ball over the scoreboard in left center. That's not that easy to do at George M. Steinbrenner Field, so I was actually kind of impressed. So, yeah, they won 14-2 against the Phillies, and I know that people are joking about the fact that, the Phillies are pretty good hitting-wise, they're pretty good pitching-wise, but that their defense is not great. And some of that was on display today. It was on display the other day when they played as well, but it should be an interesting time in the NL East with the Phillies and Mets and Nationals and all that good stuff. But yeah, defense is important. The Yankees did what they did over the winter, which was really nothing, which I ranted about last week, and tried to get better defensively. You could have gotten better defensively if you got Carlos Correa. But we're past that now, right? He's with the Twins, and he's going to enjoy those Juicy Lucy's out in Minnesota. Has anyone had a Juicy Lucy? I need to have one, but I don't want to go to Minnesota to have one. Can someone send one to me? Does that work? Do people send food overnight? Because if that's the case, if you don't know what a Juicy Lucy is, it is a hamburger with cheese in it. They basically if you're watching me on YouTube, you can see what I'm doing. If you're listening, they meld the meat together with cheese in the middle. And I know that there are 2 places in Minneapolis that fight over Juicy Lucy supremacy. And there's one that does them one way with one kind of cheese, and there's another one that does them with whatever kind of cheese you want. I personally love Swiss cheese on burgers and in burgers. I am not an American cheese person at all. Actually, that's my least favorite cheese. I will refuse to eat it. So anyway, good luck with that, Carlos Correa, and getting fat on Juicy Lucy's. So after the game, Aaron Boone, that's who's managing the Yankees. I almost said Aaron Judge. No, not quite. Was talking about Luis Severino. Luis Severino has general soreness, which is, I brought that up in the cold open just to be funny, but it's not funny. It's not serious either. People are kind of freaking out about it, which is, if you've been a Yankee fan for as long as I have, or even if you haven't been a Yankee fan for as long as I have, you know that Yankee fans go crazy at the slightest bit of news. So he's dealing with general soreness after his second spring start, according to Aaron Boone. So instead of a start tomorrow, Severino will throw a bullpen instead. I just started a sentence with instead and ended it with instead. It's good. He's scheduled to make his third outing of the spring on Saturday. And according to Lindsay Adler of The Athletic, the Yankees are expecting to line up their rotation as such: Garrett Cole, Luis Severino, Jordan Montgomery, Jameson Taillon, Nestor Cortez Jr. As long as everyone stays healthy, that should be the rotation going forward, and that's how it should start for the year. So it'll be interesting to see how Garrett Cole does against the Red Sox on opening day. Hopefully it'll be better than what he did in the wild card game. But as I said yesterday, his hamstring seems healthy, and it certainly wasn't during the wild card game. So that'll be a big difference. Hopefully, nothing will happen between now and opening day. And what was the third thing I wanted to talk about with today's game and surrounding everything happening today? Giancarlo Stanton was playing right field. Judge was playing center field. Hicks was playing left field. They might play around with that, so don't worry about it. I believe Gallo was DHing. I believe that's what the lineup was. I'll admit I was half paying attention to the game. I was writing also, so I was kind of looking up and kind of looking down. It was Rucco and Flaherty in the booth, and I don't know, is it just me or do those guys sound similar when they speak? I kind of was having trouble figuring out which one was speaking. It was kind of funny. I don't know. Or maybe it seems when one is in the booth with someone else, they sound like each other. Maybe they don't sound as much alike when they're talking with each other, but I always found that their voices are very similar. Except Rucco screams a lot. He gets very excited on home runs. A little too excited. Sometimes I think he needs to calm down. No offense. He does a great job. And, it's not easy to call baseball games. It's not easy to call basketball games either, and he does that very well. So I'll give him that, but I don't know. Sometimes he overreacts to some home runs. That home run that broke StatCast in Safeco Field that Aaron Judge hit a couple of seasons ago, he had every right to go nuts on that. But there are others where you think to yourself, should he be going that crazy? I don't know. It's spring training. Maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, so they won 14-2 against the Phillies. Not that that really means anything, but, the hitters are getting going, and you want to see that because opening day is fast approaching. It's really coming up soon. And with the abbreviated spring training, you want to see the guys getting more comfortable at the plate. Speaking of guys who look more comfortable at the plate, Gleyber Torres is posting very sweet videos of himself and his son. His son's only about a week old, and it's just very adorable, and it looks like he's enjoying being a dad. And maybe this will light a fire under his butt. Sometimes that happens with baseball players when they have babies. People joke about them getting like dad power, so maybe that'll help Gleyber Torres. From my lips to whoever's running the universe's ears. So in a moment, we're going to look back at Giancarlo Stanton's first game with the Yankees. It was up in Toronto, and it was a nice introduction to the Yankees for Giancarlo Stanton. It was kind of exciting at the beginning of 2018. I mean, the season didn't end that great, but, it was okay. But before we do that, our next partner has a product I use literally every day. I started taking AG1 because I didn't have time to take lots of supplements. I wanted better gut health, more energy, a better immune system, and I wanted a supplement that actually tastes great. And now I've been on it for about a month, and I love it. It doesn't taste like it's super healthy. It's mild. It's not bad, because sometimes when you take things that you scoop into water, it doesn't taste good. AG1 tastes good. And with AG1, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food sourced superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. And this special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, nervous system, immune system, energy, recovery, focus, aging, everything that I need. I take it in the morning when I first wake up, before I have my breakfast, my coffee, and before I work out. So right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition, especially heading into flu and cold season. It's just one scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, AG1 is giving you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you need to do is visit athleticgreens.com/MLB Network. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/MLB Network to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Thank you for making Locked On Yankees your first listen every day. We're free and available on all platforms. And you should listen to Locked On MLB Prospects when you're done with our show. Host Lindsey Crosby is a prospect encyclopedia, and he's going deep on the MLB stars of tomorrow, including some names we may see on the field in Yankee Stadium in the not-so-distant future. It's free and available wherever you get podcasts. Speaking of that, Anthony Volpe, he played today. Saw him in the latter innings, and I believe he worked a walk, and then he scored, so good for him. I guested on Jays from the Couch, a podcast about the Blue Jays, last night, and it was live, I believe, on Facebook Live, and then it went up. The audio version went up. That's what I was trying to come up with. Went up today, so if you want to listen to that, please do. They're a great group of people. I've been on the show, I think, 4 times in the last 4 seasons, and I had a lot of fun. And they asked me lots of questions about the Yankees, and I gave my true opinion, which they found refreshing, apparently, because one of the guys who I don't think I ever spoke with him. I think he was new, at least from the last time that I did the show. And he said how refreshing it was that I'm not the type of podcaster that wears pinstripe glasses. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see I'm not wearing pinstripe glasses at all. I tell it how it is. If I'm angry with the Yankees not doing something, with them doing something, I will let you know. Not everything is sunshine and roses and kittens and rainbows. We all know that. I've been watching baseball too long to be the type of Yankee fan that chooses to not see the bad things and act like everything is okay. But I'm also not the type of Yankee fan to complain about every single thing, which I brought up on that show last night. Let's talk about this. We'll get into Stanton in a second. Maybe I'll do that for segment 3. Let's talk about this. I joked on Jays from the Couch that I feel as if this fan base needs a very bad Yankee year. Bad as in 1990-91, not bad as in 2013, 2014, 2016, where they barely missed the playoffs. I'm talking complete disaster. 20 games under 500, a starter that pitches a no-hitter and still loses 4-0 because his defense can't play. That kind of season. Some Yankee fans need to be humbled. They really do. They need to understand what an actual bad season is. Because some of you are too young to remember. Some of you weren't around then. I get it. You started watching baseball when the Yankees started winning and when they were always making the playoffs, and when 2013, 2014, and 2016 happened, it was not a fun time for you. I'm so sorry that you went through that. It must have been so terrible for you. I know. Anyway, sometimes I feel like the Yankees need a hard reset. It'll never happen. Not with the way ownership runs the show. That's never happening. So you don't have to worry about that, okay? And I see some people coming out and trying to predict that the Yankees are going to be an absolute disaster this year. I don't think so. I think they'll squeak into the playoffs with the 12 teams. I think they will. I don't think they're going to miss the playoffs, but you never know. You never know. Could be injuries and stuff like that happening that might derail them, but I don't know. I don't see them missing the playoffs. That would be pretty hard for them to do. So let's look back at March 29th, 2018, 4 years ago. Giancarlo Stanton's first game as a Yankee, Rogers Center, Toronto. It was a 4:09 start that day, which is weird. Don't most of their start times end in 7s? That's surprising. Okay, so let's go through this because you know I love doing it. The attendance was 48,115. The game only took 2 hours, 51 minutes. That's pretty good. And let's go through the lineup and everything else. Brett Gardner was playing in left field, Aaron Judge right field, Stanton was the DH, Gary Sanchez catching, Aaron Hicks center field, Didi Gregorius shortstop, Brandon Drury. Oh, wow. That's right. He That's right. He started with the Yankees in 2018. Third base, Neil Walker. Second base, Tyler Austin. First base. Wow. Luis Severino started. Then for Toronto, Devin Travis, second base, Josh Donaldson, third base, Justin Smoke, first base, Curtis Granderson, left field. Oh, that's right. I forgot he went to the Jays. Kendrys Morales, DH, Randall Grichuk, right field, Russell Martin, catcher, Kevin Pillar, center field, Aldemus Diaz, shortstop, and Jay Happ started. Oh, familiar names all over the place. Now, Severino only went 5 2/3 in that game. Gave up gave up one hit, no runs. That's what I meant to pluralize. Walked 3, struck out 7. J Happ pitched 4 2/3 innings, gave up 2 earned runs, 3 runs, 4 hits, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts, 1 home run. And I'm assuming, right, because Stanton did it kind of early-ish in the game. Yeah, it was first inning. That's right. That's why it was a great introduction. And I remember where he hit it, too. Okay, yeah. So, umpires. Kerwin Danley, Paul Newert, Scott Barry, David Rackley. It says the start time weather. I'm assuming the roof was open, but maybe not. Maybe not. 68 degrees. So Brett Gardner reached on an E7. Aaron Judge struck out looking against Happ. And then Giancarlo Stanton hit his home run on the second pitch he saw from Happ. Deep to right center field. The Yankees went up 2-0. And if I'm not mistaken, he also hit a double in the game, yes? Yes. Off John Axford. It was after Happ left. Right after he left in the top of the 5th. And Gary Sanchez hit a double right after him. And the Yankees went up 4-0 in that inning. That's right. Oh, look at that. They have challenges in the box score on Baseball Reference. Fun. Oh, yeah, Brett Gardner hit a home run that day. Forgot about that. That was against Danny Barnes in the 7th inning. That put the Yankees up 5-0. Kevin Pillar hit a home run off Dellin Betances to lead off the bottom of the 8th to make it 5-1. And then Stanton hit his second home run of the game. It was a 6-pitch at bat against Tyler Clippard. And he hit it to right center again. So yeah, 6-pitch, 3-2 count, puts the Yankees up 6-1. Chapman comes in, replaces Betances. Gets Justin Smoke to line out. Steve Pearce comes in to pinch hit for Curtis Granderson because Steve Pearce has played for every AL team. And he struck out looking. And then Kendrys Morales struck out swinging to end that game. And that was a good first game for Stanton. 2 home runs, a double, and Yankee fans were rejoicing. Yay! And they won their opener in 2018. Will they win their opener in 2022? We'll find out soon enough. It's coming up very soon. Can't believe it. A week from Thursday. Now remember, opening day Thursday, off day Friday, then Saturday, Sunday. And Sunday will be our first glimpse at the ESPN booth with David Cohn in it. I'm very excited that I'm going to be able to watch ESPN games and not have to mute them anymore. Thank you, ESPN, for listening to me when I had Cohn on the show and said he needed to be in a national booth. If you're not watching on YouTube, I just pat myself on the back. I wasn't the only one saying that. Everyone was talking about that. Everyone thought that David Cohn should be in a national booth, and I'm glad he's getting this chance. Obviously, he's still going to be with Yes, but just not as much as in previous seasons. And then we also get to see the K-Rod broadcast. That should be interesting. That should be really interesting. I'm going to flip between the two. And, the Apple TV stuff. That's right. If you didn't know, Apple TV is going to have baseball games on Friday nights. And the Yankees have a couple in the schedule that I saw. Let me bring this up now because it came out, I believe, earlier today. I'm excited because I have Apple TV, so I'll be able to watch those games. But some people don't have Apple TV, and they're not happy about having to get it in order to watch games on Friday nights. Where is the schedule? Oh, here we go. Okay. The first game, Friday, April 8th, so the second day of the season, the Mets against the Nationals at 7 p.m. and the Astros against the Angels at 9:30 p.m. Then the next Friday, the Rays against the White Sox and the Reds against the Dodgers. On the 22nd, the Cardinals against the Reds, the Rangers against the Athletics. And then Friday, April 29th, the Yankees against the Royals. And that's at 8 p.m. Eastern. So that's their first game on Apple TV. Their second game on Apple TV is June 3rd against the Tigers. And that's a 7 p.m. start. And that's at Yankee Stadium. The game on April 29th is in Kansas City. That's why it's 8 p.m. Eastern. And I don't know. They don't have the full schedule yet. So, not overwhelmed with Yankee games, unlike other, like Fox and ESPN always showing Yankee games, which annoys everyone around the country. Look, people, if you're not a Yankee fan, you're watching this podcast or listening to this podcast, we don't like those games either. We're sick of them as well. So, don't complain to us. Complain to the broadcast stations that put too many Yankee games on because, hey, if I had my way, the Yankees wouldn't be on ESPN and Fox so much, especially against the Red Sox. I can't stand them being on national games. Show local games. I spoke about this the other day. When I did go to a game on a Sunday with my Sunday package, when I was at the old stadium and in the new stadium for the first few years, it was always shocking if I attended a Sunday day game against either the Mets or the Red Sox because it barely happened. I was always stuck at ESPN games with my Sunday package against the Mets and the Red Sox. And I saw a lot of cool games, honestly. But even when I lived in Manhattan and only lived 2 miles away from the stadium, I was getting home at, like 1:30, 2 in the morning. And I would joke with my bosses on the Friday before saying, I might be late on Monday because I have a Yankee game on Sunday night. And I would usually call their voicemail when I got home. So the timestamp would be there. This message was left at, 2:30 a.m. So they would know how late I got home. I will say it was easier when I lived in Manhattan than when I lived in Staten Island. That was a trek from Yankee Stadium. That took me forever and a day. And if you ever missed a ferry and you had to wait an hour for one in the middle of the night, that was not fun. I had that happen a couple of times. I had it happen after a playoff game against the Angels in 2002. I was with my neighbor, though, so I had spoken to him that morning. We planned on the bus. He's like, I'm sitting in the upper deck. So we'll meet here and then we'll go home together. I said, yeah, let's do that. Okay. So we were stuck at New York Harbor for an hour waiting for a ferry at like 3 a.m. And there are people fishing. If you didn't know this, people fish in New York Harbor overnight. I thought it was odd, but also very, it must be really peaceful because you don't expect people to be sitting there waiting for a ferry at nearly 3 a.m. And my adventures when I had my season tickets, there were some interesting games I went to and interesting times that were had on the way home, on the way to games. Yeah, I miss those days. I miss having my package. I really do, because I haven't been to a lot of games in the last 5 years, I would say. I only went to 2 last season. They lost both of them. I went to that infamous game where they knocked Shohei Ohtani out in the first inning, and then Aroldis Chapman gives up a grand slam in the top of the 9th, and the Angels go on to win 11-8. It was hot that day, too. It was hot. I was sweaty. I was miserable. There were 2 or 3 rain delays. It took forever and a day for that game to be played, and then he gives up a grand slam. And I called it. I said, watch him give up a grand slam here. My brother goes, no, he's not going to do that. Next pitch. Ugh. And then the second game I went to was against the Mariners, and the Yankees just could not do anything. They lost 2-0. Luke Voit had just come back from his injury. He looked horrible at the plate. Absolutely horrible. But Luis heel pitched, and he ran into some trouble in the first inning. It was one of those, bend but don't break performances. And he really pitched a lot in that first inning. And I thought, okay, well, he's not going to make it past the third. And he pitched through the fifth. So he was actually pretty impressive, but the offense did nothing for him, which was a theme last year. I spoke about it yesterday. Poor Jordan Montgomery had that, I almost said year and a half streak. Could you imagine if he had a year and a half streak of the Yankees not hitting for him? Like Jacob deGrom, basically, with the Mets. He had that month and a half streak where the Yankees were not doing anything for him. Hopefully he won't have that this season. Again, as I said, he is in the rotation after Severino and Cole. And, as long as everyone stays healthy, Domingo Germán is coming back, or not coming back. He has the shoulder injury. He's on the 60-day IL, so you won't see him for a while. And, as for Severino with his general soreness, as I say, I'm on social media, so I see all the responses there. And people were going a little nuts. And I don't think you should go nuts. It's general soreness. It's okay. I mean, he's coming back from Tommy John. The Yankees don't want to overload him in a truncated spring training. I mean, as much as they want the guys to be warmed up and ready in time for opening day, it's not feasible, really. You're going to see some guys struggling in the beginning of the season. It's going to happen with every team. It's not just going to be the Yankees. You'll see some guys sputtering a little bit because they're used to having those 6 weeks of spring training and they're not having it this year. So everyone just calm down, practice Zen baseball. It'll all be okay. I promise. Well, maybe. I don't know. Let's just hope everything will be okay. How about that? I'm not going to promise anything. But it's too soon to panic. Let's just say that. It's too soon to panic. And again, he'll be starting on Saturday. Hopefully everything will be okay with that. And yeah, and then next Thursday, opening day at Yankee Stadium. Should be interesting. And I'm assuming it would be... Actually, I don't know who would be pitching for the Red Sox because Sale was coming back from an injury, wasn't he? So maybe it's not going to be Chris Sale. That'll be interesting to see. And then we get to see Trevor Story on the Red Sox. That'll be fun for everyone involved. I wasn't really that upset about Trevor Story not signing with the Yankees. As I said last week, I was more upset that he signed with the Red Sox. He could have gone anywhere else. But it had to be the Red Sox, especially after what happened with Correa. I'm not going to get into it again because I will rant for another 30 minutes, and no one needs that. So that's the end of this show. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, we're closing in on 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, and when we make it, we're going to do a giveaway. Still not sure exactly what we want to give away, so let us know. If we do a random giveaway for 1,000 subscribers, what would you want to get from a podcast? Would you want a t-shirt? Would you want a book? Would you want a bobblehead? Would you want a guest appearance on the show? That could be something. That might be kind of fun, choosing some random person to come on with Abby and myself. I'd have to talk with Abby about that. But maybe. Just let us know. Let us know on Twitter, Locked On Yankees, all one word, and let us know on YouTube in the comments what you think we should give away. It could be fun. So again, that's it for this episode of Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'd like to remind you that you can listen to this show in Apple Podcasts, Odyssey, Spotify, Stitcher, or anywhere else you get your podcasts. You can watch and subscribe to us on YouTube. And when you get into your car, you can tell your smart device to play podcast Locked On MLB. Make your second listen of the day Locked On MLB. Paul Francis Sullivan, please call him Sully, brings you his unique perspective on the major leagues, both past and present. It's free and available wherever you get podcasts. And one more thing, if you could be so kind, please rate the podcast and spread the word about this podcast to your fellow Yankee fans. We would really appreciate it. So, enjoy your Tuesday, and we will talk to you tomorrow.